Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, a local high school student is in the hospital this morning after being hit by an SUV. The latest on the investigation coming up. Also,
there's not one of you in this room that doesn't understand that this is exactly the way I don't want to do business.
Hours before a midnight deadline, Congress avoids a government shutdown when the Senate might vote on funding a $1 trillion package.
And tonight's the night when history is made. The KVIA Eagles are on their way to Lubbock with support from all over the borderland. We have a preview of tonight's big game.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
Well, number one, that we're very proud of them, and I think it's outstanding for El Paso. These kids, have fought back all year, and they're making history in El Paso right now, and I couldn't be happier for Coach Brooks, a teammate of mine at UTEP, and Austin Contreras. He was on our staff at UTEP, and, those kids, they fight real hard, and we're all rooting for you next week.
The community coming together. That was UTEP head coach Sean Kugler there, wishing the Eagles the best of luck tonight. Good morning, everyone. I'm Hillary Floren.
And I'm Stephanie Valle. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:01. And if you're getting ready this morning, we hope that you're doing like what Hillary and I and Crystal are doing, wearing orange, because today's the big day.
That's right. The team is about to leave. So if they see some orange as they head out of town, that would be getting them off to a good start, wouldn't it?
Yes, and they are making the trip for the state semifinals later this morning. In just a few hours, the team will be loading up into buses and heading out for Lubbock.
You can imagine it will be a big send-off. KVIA faces Ennis at 6 o'clock tonight in Lubbock. We will broadcast the game live on ABC7 and at KVIA.com. We're doing this thanks in part to the Lubbock Independent School District, which operates the stadium.
There has been a lot of excitement in the borderland leading up to today's game. People all over the area have been showing their support. We even had the KVIA mascot, Brutus the Eagle, in our studio to help get people excited. You can see he's riling up the newsroom there. We also have been collecting your mobile shout-outs to the team with the hashtag #GoKenneTio.
From Harvest Christian Center, Go KVIA!
Just wanted to take a moment to reach out to KVIA High School and let you know how proud we are of you and the Eagles football team and Coach Brooks.
Go Eagles!
From your family here at Evolve Federal Credit Union, we want to wish KVIA High School the best of luck at the Texas State semifinal. Go Eagles! Go KVIA!
And you can still send your mobile shout-outs. Just post on Facebook or Twitter with the hashtag #GoKenneTio, and our complete coverage continues this morning.
We'll be here as the team leaves for Lubbock a little later and have the latest on air and online at KVIA.com. But first, let's talk about the weather.
Yeah, let's talk about that storm track weather with Crystal Cly. Crystal, looking pretty good today.
Absolutely looking great, not just here, but at Lubbock also. I've zoomed out our map, our radar map that is, and you can see there's not a thing to stop you from heading that direction. From El Paso all the way to Lubbock, we're really not even dealing with clouds. It's a nice clear drive directly to the game location. Now, again, we have some reports this morning from the National Weather Service reporting station of some light drizzle / fog. Now, because I'm looking at radar and I'm actually not seeing any light drizzle picking up, I would suspect that mostly that's just those foggy conditions that are making it very moist outside there. So just do note to yourself that if you're driving that direction, you might have to deal with some fog early in the morning, and it will burn off in the afternoon. Back in our location, we're looking at a temperature of 43 degrees at the War Eagles Museum and 41 KVIA, 49 at the Mattress Firm on Viscount, and 48 degrees this morning at the New Mexico Farm and Ranch Museum. We'll talk more not only about how warm your temperatures will be this afternoon, but rain chances moving into your weekend in a few minutes.
Okay, Crystal, thank you. And to our other headlines now, a teenage girl is clinging to life this morning after being hit by an SUV. It happened around 6:15 last night on the 8600 block of Alameda in the Lower Valley, right in front of Ysleta High School. Police have not identified her, but the Ysleta district spokeswoman confirmed the girl is Paula Munoz, a freshman at Ysleta. A friend on the scene told us the girl is 14 years old. He says they were crossing Alameda to get to the McDonald's. No word on if the driver who hit Munoz will face any charges. Stay with ABC7 for any updates.
Happening today, the Board of University Medical Center will meet this morning to discuss UMC CEO Jim Valenti. Up for discussion in both open and executive session are Valenti's duties, assignments, and conduct. We'll keep you updated and let you know what happens there.
A man accused of stabbing another to death in Anthony, New Mexico is behind bars this morning. Authorities say 20-year-old Mario Soto turned himself in, and U.S. Marshals took him into custody here in El Paso. He allegedly stabbed 21-year-old Gilberto Wences when Wences was walking home after work. Soto is now awaiting extradition back to Doña Ana County. Also, the suspected driver in a deadly Lower Valley drive-by shooting last month is behind bars after being arrested yesterday. The complaint affidavit states 29-year-old Juan Avila was the driver in that shooting. Police say he was with another man, 31-year-old Alejandro Leal, the alleged gunman. Court documents state Leal admitted to targeting the victim, 38-year-old David Gomez, because Gomez was collecting taxes on street drugs.
ABC 7 caught up with El Paso state delegation, and we asked State Rep Joe Pickett for an update on the Lincoln Center. The building is special to a lot of El Pasoans because it was the first school for Mexican and African Americans in our city. The building is owned by TxDOT, which has plans to tear it down to make room for that new freeway ramp near the Spaghetti Bowl. Pickett tells ABC 7 no definitive decision has been made, but says it's important for El Paso leaders to keep putting pressure on TxDOT to come up with a blueprint for the new ramp that does not require demolition.
We don't like to see these things done statewide, but there's a possibility that we may rattle the saber by filing some kind of legislation regarding buildings like this that have an additional public purpose.
State Rep Joe Pickett says TxDOT will have new leadership come January. He's optimistic the agency will work with community leaders to come up with that plan to save the building.
And happening today, you'll get to meet the 4 finalists for El Paso County's chief administrator. County commissioners will have a public reception from 4 to 6 p.m. today in Suite 301 of the county courthouse. The 4 finalists are Jane Baez-Dieza, the city manager of Berkeley, Michigan; Joseph Huffman, who has 25 years experience as a city manager. Michael Longoria is the next finalist. He was a military general who oversaw the management at Moody Air Force Base in Georgia. And Stephen P. Norwood, who has 17 years experience as a city manager. Commissioners will make their decision during their weekly meeting on Monday.
Work on a massive spending bill continues today on Capitol Hill.
This after members of the House last night agreed on a last-minute deal to keep the government running. ABC's Susan Solney is in Washington with the latest.
The motion is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
And with that, Congress managed to narrowly avoid another government shutdown.
My job tonight is to say thank you and Merry Christmas.
After weeks of back and forth, but just hours before a midnight deadline, the House passed a $1.1 trillion bill to fund the government. It will keep most agencies operating through next summer. But the passage was not without controversy, being in doubt until the very last minutes.
There's not one of you in this room that doesn't understand that this is exactly the way I don't want to do business.
There was something in this 1,600-page bill for both Republicans and Democrats to dislike.
If the president were writing this bill himself, this bill would look a lot different.
Lawmakers crammed in pet projects, chopping away at the national school lunch standards, one of the First Lady's priorities, blocking Washington, D.C.'s new initiative legalizing the use of recreational marijuana, making major changes to campaign finance laws, and the most controversial of all for many Democrats, weakening some Wall Street regulations imposed after the economy's near collapse in 2008.
We all need to stand and fight.
In the end, Democrats rallied enough to pass the bill, fearing a worse deal next year when Republicans are in full control of Congress. This is not over yet. The bill is off to be debated in the Senate, which could vote as early as this evening. Susan Solney, ABC News, Washington.
A live look at traffic right now. We'll go ahead and pop up those cameras and show you that things are moving fine throughout the borderland this morning. This is I-10 and Airway. We'll keep an eye on things throughout the morning, and if there are any problems, we'll certainly let you know.
Well, your complete coverage of tonight's big game continues. We learned that most of the seniors for the Canateo High School squad have been playing together since they were 10 years old.
So look at their bond coming up, and millions remain without power this morning as a powerful storm continues to churn down the west coast. Could heavier rainfall still be in the forecast?
And do we have any rain chances here in the borderland? Meteorologist Crystal Clay has your complete forecast.
And the answer to that question is a big yes, but when does that rain chance hit? We'll talk more about your Saturday, Sunday forecast up after your break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.